Is going to NRA Basic Instructor worth it? I say no, for the most part. If you're trying to use that title to do something more as like a prerequisite, say you want to start teaching CCW classes, or you want to be a DOJ certified instructor so you could do the little test thing so people can buy handguns, then yeah, that's a prerequisite you need. But what I will tell you, as someone who took it long ago, unless they've changed the format, you're not going to really learn anything about teaching firearms. You will learn the NRA's lesson plan to teach firearms. And that's kind of about it. You learn, like, basically how to teach a child not to shoot themselves in the face. Like, this is a gun. This is the hammer. This is the barrel. And that's about the equivalent of it. Again, unless they've changed the format. I took it in about 2009. But what I do see is the NRA certified instructor title gets used and abused a whole lot in the training world. Because anyone could be a fucking NRA certified basic instructor. Anyone who can legally possess a firearm can go through it. There's no proficiency prerequisites, nothing. You pay the money, you take the class. So what you can do is you can take that fancy title and, oh, that's shaking a lot, is you can take that fancy title and call yourself a firearms instructor and start teaching people shit. What I see happen every now and then is people, that's really shaking, isn't it? Is if you look at like the Voda Tactical video or the, what the hell was the name? Or Unisafe, or those instructors, let me fix this thing. Hang on. Hi. If you look at those instructors, they are NRA certified instructors. I even have the cute little sticker on the back just because the goddamn thing won't come off. But yeah, it's not worth it, in my opinion. It's not a bad class. They don't teach crap. This thing's really fucking shaking. They're not teaching you the wrong stuff. But for someone who had already been shooting pistols and rifles for years, professionally, who had starting to get into it competitively, I didn't learn anything new. Running this light and made it. Aha, fuck you. Well, that's really shaking still. So no, it's not worth it in my opinion. Take two. There are also the law enforcement instructor courses. Now, NRA handgun instructor, the NRA law enforcement handgun instructor course, I learned a decent amount. I learned some new stuff because the guys I was learning from were retired SWAT guys, retired snipers. They were NRA law enforcement training counselors. These dudes had been in the game for decades. Detectives, they worked the DA's office for shoots. These guys knew some shit, and they knew what they were talking about. So that's kind of another thing that I take into account when I look at an instructor course. I was looking at the Glock Instructor Development Workshop, SIG Academy, the Post Firearms, all that. Most of them teach the same shit. If you really look at what you're learning, you're going to go over barricades, malfunctions, cover concealment, empty gun reloads, emergency reloads, tac reloads, marksmanship of various kinds, the combat shooting stuff, shit like that. What else? Maybe you might do some stuff on the move, but for the most part, a lot of them are the same. So when I look at a course, granted, this is just when I read about it. This isn't, like, I've tried to find someone who took the Glock Instructor Workshop. Can't find anyone. Because I was interested in it, and maybe I'd learn, maybe I would learn something about teaching Glock pistol shooting. Like, maybe there's a cool little proprietary trick or something neat I can get out of it. So that's why I decided to take, in August, I'm going to South Carolina to take Pat McNamara's instructor development course, because I've seen a lot of his videos, read a lot about the things he says and about his experience and everything. That is someone that I trust to make me a better teacher, not a better instructor. I don't really give a shit about learning about someone else's lesson plan. I want to learn developmental skills to make me better as an educator, as a teacher. I don't really care about the NRA's lesson plan. I don't really give a shit about the SIG lesson plan or the Glock lesson plan, because the only way you can give out that I can give out an NRA law enforcement handgun certificate is if I follow their lesson plan verbatim. I don't want to fucking do that. That's why I don't teach NRA classes, because I have to go by their lesson plan, and I don't stand by their lesson plan. That's why the only time you will ever see me advertise any NRA stuff is if it is requested. If someone approaches me and says, hey, I want this NRA basic pistol or first steps pistol class so I can give this accredited certificate to someone, but they need an accredited certificate is usually what that comes down to. And by accredited, I mean recognized is probably the better word I should use. Everyone knows the National Rifle Association. They have an established brand, and I am stuck in fucking traffic. Anyway, they have an established brand. So the NRA courses basically comes with brand recognition. It's like if I were to sell Coke products instead of trying to make Jimmy's Fizzy Pop Soda, hashtag Jimmy's Fizzy Pop Soda. Even if it's the same product, what you don't have, if I were to start my own soda company, I don't have brand recognition. Coke has already dominated the market. NRA is the same way. They've dominated the market. Unless you really start to set yourself apart, like you're big enough, like there's all sorts of brand recognition, Glock, SIG, NRA, Front Sight, all the big places. I'm not saying they're crap or not, kind of except the NRA part, but they're established and they're recognized. I could put together, and I've thought about putting together, an instructor development course, but what would you get out of it necessarily? It comes down to a bigger point of what do you want to get out of it. If you want to learn how to be a good educator of firearms, how to be a teacher of tactics, yeah, there are tons of people out there that know how to do that. The world is filled with this experience because of what we've been doing for the last, 10, 15 years now, if not more. But a lot of people are certificate hunters. They go to all the cool classes, and you can always point them out, because when they're an instructor that talks about their experience and their resumes and all that stuff, they list all these student level certificates. You're a cert hunter, bro. You chase titles. I don't give a fuck about a title. That's why my email signature has me as the head dude in charge. Or if you look on the website, I'm the head beer drinker. I could give myself, the owner, the president, or the chief executive officer. Fuck that shit. I'm just the dude. I'm the dude in charge. So yeah. That's a big rant. Fuck this traffic. Third installment. I get asked by soldiers, officers, all kinds of different people, hey, I want to take this instructor course, what do you think? The first thing I ask them is, what do you want to get out of it? Now, if it's, I work at this range, and they want me to get instructor certified, so I can do X, Y, or Z. Okay, yeah, that's a valid point. There are a lot of places that have that. Or they'll say, well, I want to learn how to make my friends better. I want to learn how to make I'm a team leader, I'm a squad leader, I'm a platoon sergeant. I want to make my soldiers better shots. I want to make the guys on my shift better shots. Good. Then what you have is the inspiration and motivation needed to make change. You just need proper guidance in how to make that change. And in the big money instructor development courses will kind of help, but where you're really gonna, this is with anything, with leadership, with parenting, it comes with experience. So for instance, the if you've brought a double action pistol, particularly a Beretta 92 FS or an M9 on my range, or let's say you know me from the Army and we've done pistol training and I showed you the trigger flex drill that I came up with. I kind of came up with that on my own through years of qualification shooting, qualification range running, of pistol competitions where I specifically was using the M9, both for the California National Guard State Shooting Championships, as well as the California Police and Fire Games, where I used the Beretta 92 FS. Did pretty good in both of them. I became good at teaching the M9, not because of a class I took, but because of my experience with that weapon. Experience made me the teacher that I am. Now, there are a couple classes here and there you can take. They'll give you a good idea. You might get a couple perks out of it. Or usually what I really like about it is I will meet someone. I'll meet students, I'll meet the instructors, and I'll network, and I'll get that out of it. I met a couple really cool dudes in the firearms, in the NRA Law Enforcement Firearms Instructor course I was in. Met really good people out of that. I still talk to some of them, and they're great guys. But the basic NRA instructor courses, it's on you. It's up to you. They're about $200-300 now for a weekend. I'm telling you from experience, you're probably not going to get a whole lot out of it if you're already a shooter. What I did see, like when I took the rifle instructor course, was you had guys who were like Boy Scout shooting coaches. They were volunteers, or they were working with some sort of youth shooting program, and they didn't really know much about not only teaching, but about guns in general. Yeah, those guys got a lot out of it. So the group, and I probably should have started this off, the group I'm particularly speaking to for this video are seasoned shooters, soldiers, cops, guys who have been around guns for X amount of years. They own a few guns, they've done a few classes, they've gone to a couple competitions, they've done rather successful. I'm not talking to the new people. If you haven't been shooting for a number of years, in my opinion, you have no business taking an instructor course. That might sound kind of jaded and bitter, but if you don't know what you're fucking doing, you have no business teaching that. That'll be another video. Don't learn from people that don't know what they're fucking doing, just because they have a piece of paper. Woo!